Hi, welcome to your channel. Today is the second day of 11th chapter, that is moving on up. Let's start product to service, service to product. Another is the thing many existing businesses can do to add a new revenue source quickly is to create a service from a product based business or create a product from a service based business. Remember the story about the restaurant in chapter 2. Most people go to a restaurant so they can relax and let the staff serve them. But others really are interested in how the cooking works. So restaurants offer sometimes offer cooking classes to show off their favorite recipes and create more loyalty among frequent diners. The key is that the lessons are held on Saturday or Sunday afternoons, times when the restaurant is closed or not very busy. Saturday night is reserved for the main event of regular dining. If you have a product business, ask yourself this question: my product is X. How can I teach customers by about Y? Then create a new version of your offering that includes consulting, coaching, a jump start session, premium technical support, or something else. Make it clear that customers do not need the service, they can get by on their own with just the product. But for those who are interested in some extra hand holding, the service is available and waiting for them. Perry Marshall, a Chicago based business consultant, made the switch from product to service by offering an educational course based on knowledge he usually shared through a one time product. Perry had written a popular report that sold multiple copies every day for $50 each. He was also busy offering one on one personal consulting, but one day someone gave him an idea. Everyone who buys this report loves it, but they don't always know how to implement what you teach. They also don't need to you need your high-end one-on-one consulting. So why not offer a series of jump start workshops that people could take as a group? Perry wasn't sure at first but decided to give it a try. When the idea generated more than $1 million for his small firm, he was astounded. Alternatively, if you operate a service based business, consider how you can introduce a productized version of the service. My designer, Reese Spikerman, does work that is so great that when word got out, a lot of people began noticing and asking her for quotes. It didn't take long for Reese to have far more inquiries than she could handle. Reese's husband, Jason, manages the inquiries that come in every day, and he noticed that they fit into three categories. Category 1: prospects with significant money to spend who would likely be good clients. In these cases, Jason consulted with Reese, agreed to accept the clients if they still wished to proceed, and issued them a quote for the requested work. Category 2: prospect who didn't have any more money to spend. Designer receive a lot of these queries, unfortunately, or people who just want the right fit for Reese's work. In this case, Jason politely declined the request and encouraged them to look elsewhere. These two categories were fairly straightforward, and as hundreds of inquiries came in over the course of an average year, Jason became astute in telling right away which group someone was in. But there was another third category that was more complicated. Category 3: prospects who had some money to spend, were nice people with interesting projects, and didn't need a completely custom solution. The third category was complicated because Reese and Jason didn't want to send them away, but they also didn't want to take on an excessive number of projects, thus limiting Reese's design time for key clients. They did some careful subcontracting, but they didn't want to become a low end provider or farm out much of the work to others. After considering different options, Reese and Jason decided to create a series of themes and website headers that customers could purchase for a flat rate. These options weren't the same as a genuinely custom crafted site design, but they were a lot better than everything else on the market. Providing both a product and a service helps with your marketing as well. You can say to prospects, hey, my service costs a lot of money because everything is customized. But if you just need a general solution, you can get this version for much less. Some customers will still want to customize solutions, but this way you don't shut the door on others who like the idea but can't afford the high end work. What sets happy needs apart? An examination of a Thrive retail practice. How does a retail establishment thrive when those around it struggle? Welcome to Happy Needs, a yarn store and internet retailer based in the trendy southeast area of Portland, Oregon. Here are 5 ways Happy Needs stands out. A welcoming space. Knitters are welcome to stay for hours, whether shopping or knitting. Guests who happen to be accompanying knitters, usually husbands or children, are also welcome to hang out, sit in comfy chairs, and use the free Wi-Fi while the knitter of the family looks around. Most, though not all, knitters are women. A clear only strategy, a clear online strategy. Most retail stores have a website, but few combine a physical location with an online shopping experience as well as Happy Needs does. Online is limitless, says store owner Sarah Yang. Even with a large retail space, online sales from around the world constitute more than half the sales. She works the system by maintaining close ties with Revelry, a social network specifically for knitters, and providing frequent email updates and offers to previous customers. Great displays in store and great photos online. Display color and placement are important, so Happy Needs include a staging area for professional photos in a back room of the store. I asked Sarah why she don't just use the photos provided by the manufacturer the way other stores do because they are not good enough. She told me we try to do everything here with a focus on quality. Exclusive deals by working with an companies with yarn companies as partners. Happy Needs creates exclusivity that is hard to emulate. You might think this is an unfair advantage, but the companies offered these deals to Sarah because her customers said such good things about the store and because she is careful to pay vendors on time. Lesson: to get an unfair advantage, provide remarkable service. Love for customers. Every order sent by mail includes a personalized thank you note from an employee encouraging customer to call if they need help with a pattern, plus free samples of other products. If an item is back ordered because of a computer glitch, an employee will call the customer proactively and apologize and ask if she would like a substitutions. But be nice to people and provide a great service may not sound like much of a differentiation, but all these things add up. Whether you have a retail store or not, you could learn something from Happy Needs. Note to service providers: raise prices regularly. You might expect that a price increase has a tendency to filter some customers away from the business while making up for the loss with higher overall income. Sometimes this is indeed the case, but many of the service providers I talked with were surprised that almost no one left after an increase. Several said that when they told their customers or clients about the increase, the response was, "It's about time. You are worth more than you have been charging." When your clients complain about the price being too low, you should listen. And do Andy Dunn is a developer in Belfast, Northern Ireland. He left his day job after pitching a web application to a CEO. Crucially, Andy didn't just pitch an idea, he had the idea and then acted on it by creating the entire app and sending it over to the CEO requesting approval. Impressed, the CEO called him up to say thanks and even agreed to underwrite the expenses for some additional features. Out on his own, Andy had no problem attracting new business, but he did have a big problem with pricing. Wanting to appear attractive, attractive to prospective clients, he priced his services so low that they were unprofitable. In one case, he ended up several thousand euros in debt by bidding too low and then outsourcing part of the work. After that experience, he knew he would have to make a change. The change came in the form of a 25% raise, something he was initially afraid to do, but he was greatly relieved after it was done. The simple act of raising my rates by 25% allowed me to either work 7 hours less a week or make significant increase in my monthly income. He told me on a Skype call from Belfast. The other unexpected benefit was that it gave me much more confidence. Until I upped the rates, I didn't make the connection that I was worth more than I had been charging. And this story was repeated in various forms by other service providers and a few product based businesses too. In 2010, I conducted a separate study of 14 freelancers who had raised their rates successfully. I asked them how they did it, what they expected to happen, and what actually happened. These freelancers were working in completely different fields, including a veterinarian, a voice coach, a sign language interpreter, and the more typical crowd of consultants, writers, and designers. They were also located throughout the English speaking world, including Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and United Kingdom and the United States. Despite the diverse backgrounds and reasons, I heard the same story over and over. Before my price increase, I was worried that no one would hire me again. After the price increase, I realized how easy it was, and I wish I had done it sooner. In most cases, the change was anticlimactic. Client said, "Okay, sure," and moved on. I also asked about suggestions for other service providers who are thinking about raising their rates. The most common advice was to maintain a practice of regular rate increases so that it becomes normal and expected. One freelancer likened it to going to the grocery store. No one expects the price of milk to be the same from year to year. We all know that over time it's going to go up, and the same should be true for the prices we charge clients. Another suggested an annual date for charging prices, either January 1 or the beginning of your calendar year if it's different. Others said that they offered an ongoing discount for current clients among whom the work is more familiar and a strong relationship already exists. Lastly, remember to price on the basis of value, not time. One designer sent us a good example of what not to do. I have a colleague who moderates her rate according to how busy the day was and how long her lunch break was. Crazy. Our correspondent is right. Customers pay for what you deliver, not how long you spend at lunch. The best social media strategy: talk about yourself. You may have heard the way to build following on Twitter and other social network is to promote other people's work. People don't want to hear you talk about yourself all the time, right? This advice is well-meaning and sounds good on the surface. Unfortunately, it's also wrong. Promoting other people's work and sharing links to interesting articles is fine, but don't expect that merely doing that will help you again followers or attention. People follow you or your business because that's what they are interested in you. I follow Shakil Ossi Orage tweets and posts because I am interested in what he has to say. If he spent all his time talking about the people and mentioning his other fans, I won't be as interested. What should you talk about online? It's simple. Talk about yourself and your business. Really, if people don't like what you or say, they can unfollow you, but chances are that you will gain far more followers than you lose. Finally, remember that online social networks are merely reflections of what's happening elsewhere. Want more Twitter followers? Then do something interesting away from Twitter. A cautionary note: there's no point pursuing growth for growth's sake. You should scale a business only if you really want to. Many of the subjects of our case studies said they had turned down growth opportunities in a deliberate plan to remain small. I just didn't want the hassle of managing people. The decision on going big versus staying small is unique to each person. We will look at it much more in the next two chapters. But in this section, we want to focus on things you can do to increase income without hiring additional employees or bringing in outside investors. All the tweaks mentioned above can be done by a solopreneur. Some might be easier with assistants, contractors, or employees, but none require a team. Before we close it out, let's look a key distinction between two different kinds of growth. You can grow a business one of two ways: horizontally, by going wide and creating different products to apply to different people, or vertically, by going deep and creating more levels of engagement with customers. Different businesses will find that one solution suits them better than the other, and it's also possible to pursue limit growth in both areas. Mostly, though, you can keep moving on up, tweaking your way to the bank and growing your business. The first $1.26 or the first sale may be the hardest, but after that, your most difficult choice may be deciding between many good options for growth. Key points: moving on up by increasing income in an existing business is usually easier than initially starting the business. By making careful choices, you can often grow the business without dramatically increasing the world increasing the world world world, allowing you to scale without hiring many people. Easy growth options include adding a service to a product based business or vice versa, deploying creative series of upsells and cross sells, and making a new tweaks. Horizontal expansion involves going broader by serving more customers with different, usually related interests. Vertically expansion involves going deeper by serving the same customers with different levels of need. And so it's the end of the 11th chapter. We will start 12th chapter, that is how to franchise yourself, in the next session. If you are new on the channel, subscribe the channel and press bell icon so that you will get notification about new video upload. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you so much.